it seems ridiculous, but people will leave their jobs before they go to their boss and say, hey, this thing you do drives me crazy and I'm thinking about quitting as a part of it. You as a leader have to prove that your people can come to you and tell you honest feedback, and you have to create space for it. Your employees are too afraid to do that unless you go to them and create that space. I know that most leaders will watch this video and think it doesn't apply to them, and I'm telling you, it does. I have had multiple conversations over the last 2 weeks with employees who are perfectly happy at their jobs and also thinking about leaving their job. And I want to give you a perfect example. So I have a friend who works for this company. They love their company. They love the mission and the work that the company does. They love their job. They love their coworkers. They like their boss. They think their boss is a good person and they like them, but there's one or two things that their boss does that drives them crazy. And no joke, they're like, I don't think I can stay in this company because of this. And I'll tell you what it is. They'll get a project from their boss, go and spend a week and work on it, and then come back. And their boss, like every single time, and like this under the like COVID stuff is like exacerbated because they're remote. But the boss is like, oh, we can't use this name because it's used here, and we can't have this thing, and da 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 da, and like only negative critical feedback. No acknowledgement of this entire week's worth of time and effort and like above and beyond effort that they put into this. It's only critical feedback. And you're like, no big deal. After 2 years, they're worn down about it and they can guarantee this is the only way that their boss never acknowledges something positive that they do. And like they're thinking about quitting. And you might be like, well, it's on them to tell their boss. It might be, but the truth is this is how employees are. They're afraid to have these conversations with their leaders because they're afraid it will damage their relationship. They'll get fired or they'll get in trouble, right? Or their boss will make their job miserable or they'll prevent them from opportunities in the future. And it seems ridiculous, but people will leave their jobs before they go to their boss and say, hey, this thing you do drives me crazy and I'm thinking about quitting as a part of it. You as a leader have to prove that your people can come to you and tell you honest feedback, and you have to create space for it. Your employees are too afraid to do that unless you go to them and create that space to say, I want to hear the feedback that you have about your job and how I'm doing as a leader and if I can be even better. I promise you, it's not an exaggeration. You have to do this as a leader, and yes, it applies to you. Go and ask, how am I doing? Is there any way I can show up even better for you? Tell me the things that you think that you are afraid to tell me. I want to hear them, and prove that that is a safe place to do and that they can trust you and that you actually care. No joke, do that work. What are you doing? For the record, Jay was not back there holding the light.
How was it?
You're a jokester. All right.